on with you all? Thank you for tapping in with me again today. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Cleveland. So welcome to the Fish Corner, everybody. If you are new to the channel, please do a couple of things before you even get started with watching this video. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and then hit the like button. I'm telling you, it don't cost nothing. It's absolutely free to support this channel. And it's greatly appreciated, and it helps me continue doing what I'm doing. So let's get into the video. So, overfeeding, underfeeding. Which one is it? What do you do? Do you know? How do you calculate what you're doing? How do you calculate the overfeeding opposed to the underfeeding? If we had to determine which one is worse, by far, overfeeding is 100% worse than underfeeding. Why? Because you could potentially crash your whole aquarium with overfeeding your fish. Underfeeding your fish, they may look a little bit on the skinny side, but for the most part, they will remain healthy. It's not going to crash your aquarium. So let's talk about how do you know how much you should feed your fish. I have a few tanks in the fish room, so I could give you some examples, and guess what? It's time to do some feeding. So I got some pellets right here to feed some of these fish. I got some fiber bites to feed some of these fish, and then I have some frozen foods to feed some of these fish. So that leads to one of the things that I want to talk to you about. What are you feeding your fish? How often are you feeding your fish? Let's just say we're taking into consideration the frozen foods. Now, I feed a lot of my carnivore predatory fish frozen foods maybe every other day. Sometimes I'll wait 3 days depending on how much they ate, or if I had to pull leftover food out. One of the things to keep in mind, if you're overfeeding your fish, you will end up having to take food out. So that's an indicator, hey, you're overfeeding your fish. You're making them get full, and there's still food left in the aquarium. So keep that in mind. As far as the pellets, now this is also something that as I was saying, these cichlid, these Hikari floating food sticks is something that I feed my predatory fish. Now, this is that I can feed my predatory fish every day or even every other day. You know what I mean? They'll accept this every day. But again, when you overfeed your aquariums, you create an environment where you're going to have to do more water changes, more cleaning. You could cause your fish to have bloat because you might be feeding them the wrong thing. That's a whole different topic right there. But you don't want to have obese fish is what I'm getting at. You don't want to feed them so much to where they're obese, where they're moving around lethargic, or where they're not moving at all. You want to make sure that they're in the best possible health that you could provide for them. So proper feeding is a must. So I'm going to feed my 225 African cichlid some of these food sticks. I also feed them the Omni Flakes. Now, the reason why I feed them both of these is because they don't get enough food from the flakes itself. Now, when I feed the tank, you might think that I'm overfeeding. A properly set up aquarium, you have what we call bottom feeders. You have what we call bottom feeders. So let me silence this phone because you have what we call bottom feeders. Now, the bottom feeders will basically clean up any of the food that is left in the aquarium. So if you feel like that you overfed your aquarium, but you got some bottom feeders, you could leave that food in longer to see if they clean that up. My opinion is that every aquarium should have some sort of bottom feeder. You might have middle dwelling fish, and you might have top dwelling fish that will not even grab the food off the bottom. So in a situation like that, what happens is the food just sit there and rot. It raises your nitrates. You have a ton of algae, and you have to do a ton of cleaning and water changes on that aquarium. So having your aquariums properly set up is essential to maintaining a healthy aquarium long term. Something else that you will also want to keep in mind is the type of fish that you have. Now, these fiber bites are for my smaller community fish, so fish that stay relatively small. I mean, under 3 inches and under. Those fish, they have smaller stomachs. So you might be able, or you should probably feed those fish every day. Some people feed twice a day. I don't feed any of my fish twice a day. I don't. Once a day is fine, in my opinion, for the smaller community fish. Again, I have bottom dwelling fish in that aquarium, so any fish food that hits the bottom, I never have to take anything out. So again, one way of knowing that you're properly feeding your fish is that you don't have to take out food. So let's go ahead and feed the African cichlid tank. Let's go ahead and feed the 150-gallon community tank. And then we are going to feed some of these larger fish just so you can see how much I feed. And so, the thing is, I want my fish to still be a little hungry when I'm done feeding. I want them to still seem like they would eat more, but I don't give them more. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to create an obese fish. Now, your fish they're opportunists. They will always act like they want to eat. And, you might think that, they need to eat because, hey, they're at the aquarium, they're greeting you, they're seeming excited about the possibility of eating again. You got to refrain. You got to hold back. Don't put any food in there. Because, again, they will eat as much as you put in there a lot of the time. But, again, they'll waste a lot as well. So let's go ahead and feed this 225-gallon African cichlid tank right here. So I'm going to set you guys up right here. I think that's a pretty good vantage point. Now, remind you, I just put some of these Omni flakes in there already. And let me just show you. So pardon the glare and the reflection. I do have the garage door open. It's a hot day today, so I can't have that closed. But as you can see, some of the fish really already pigged out on some flakes. Turn to the side, look at that stomach. That's a fat stomach. But then we got some of these other ones that didn't get a lot of food, like the Malawi barracuda, like the eye biter, like these frontosa. They are big. So those flakes just isn't enough to feed those guys. Now, these fish are accustomed to eating floating food, meaning that when it hits the bottom, only a few of them will actually go down there and grab the food. So let me go ahead and throw in some of these. Now, these are high in protein. And some of these fish, they need the omnivore diet, meaning protein and an herbivore diet. So let's go ahead and drop this in. Look at that. Okay, so that may seem like a lot, but watch it disappear. And they eat all of this. As far as the flakes bring out the catfish. They grab all of the flakes, and I have 4 catfish in here. And they grab all the flakes that land on the bottom. But you see how the eye biter is going after that. We got the frontosa, and that's going to provide the fulfillment of these fish. Because like I said, those flakes is just not enough for these larger African cichlids. Now what we got left in there? We got 2 more left. There we go. We got 1 more left. Who's going to get the last one? There we go. Last one gone. Just like that. Now I'm not putting any more in there. That's it. Now you just pigged out. I wasn't trying to have you pig out like that in this video. But look who's coming out to try to clean up anything else. We got the loaches. We got the catfish. Bottom dwelling fish. We got another catfish over there. So they're looking. They're looking. But I've already fed enough. And there goes another Synodontis. So proper cleanup crew. Let's get on over here to this 150-gallon community tank. We got the algae eaters. I have 1 catfish in here. And then I have a bunch of these barbs and tetras. There we go. All right, you see all of that? Now that may seem like a lot, but it's really a lot of fish inside of this tank. Let me see if I could give you a better side view. Not really. It's too hot to close that garage, y'all. Sorry about that. But again, I never have to take out any of the food when I feed these fish. The beauty of these fish, they actually eat the food off the ground. You see the barb back there? The neons will eat food off the ground. The barb over here. So if you have fish that has no problem with eating food off the ground and you feed them correctly, again, like I said, you won't find yourself pulling out a ton of food. Hence, proper feeding. Now let's feed. Let's feed. All right, y'all. So let's see about feeding the 240. Let's see if they're willing to eat on camera. The Giardini is a little mad because he's been going after these fish and he done bumped his head. So let's see. Now they eat the Hikari floating food sticks and they eat, but they acting a little funny right now. I don't know. So y'all seen it? I put a few fish in there the other day. I think they are at the point to where they probably will not eat the food sticks right now. So I'm not going to waste my time. Let's see if the Giardini will eat that silver side. Okay. All right. Well, silver side it is. Let's try it one more time. Let's see who's going to grab that one. The peacock bass is over there. Man, there we go. Okay, you seen that? Yeah. I could throw in a couple more. There we go. So that's for the Bisher. There you go. I see you over there with that one. What's up? You not going to eat that? Look at him over there. So let's see. Come on. Come on. Playing around. Well, between the Bisher and the catfish, they will definitely clean that up. So that's all I'm going to put in there. Now if they don't eat it and it's there in an hour or so, then that's when I'll take that out. All right, down below. Wow, the albino Bisher just grabbed that. Just grab that silver side. I know you're not going to be able to eat all that. He said, I'm going to try, though. That's too funny. Like I said, we got some catfish in there, so that's the cleanup crew. You over there trying to eat that. All right, so I'm going to drop some of these Hikari floating food sticks into this aquarium. And again, just don't feed them too much. There we go. All right. We do have some catfish in there. But for the most part, it's those hybrids. It's that hybrid right there. And then that female red tiger motorquins. Look at the colors on that red tiger motorquins. Absolutely stunning. So that's all I'm putting in there. Now again, if any of those sink, you know who's getting it? The catfish that's in there. The tire track eel that's in there. So I don't feed too much. Just enough. And now, you want to finally eat that one? Okay. All right. I'm glad you finally decided to eat. Join the club. All right, we got Stony right here. Y'all never get to see her eat. So let me go ahead and feed Stony real quick. There you go. Now, y'all finally got to watch her eat. See how active she is when she's hungry? Come all the way up to the top. And then now, feeding our rainbow wolffish. Rainbow wolffish get one. And that's usually enough. Rainbow wolffish is in here by him or herself. Still haven't come up with a name for it. And then you're almost done. All right, now this is the last one I'm gonna do on camera. This is our Oscar. In case y'all was wondering how he's doing. Doing good. Happy to be in there by himself. Yep. All right, y'all. So that's a wrap. I'm about to feed the rest of these fish. 1,300 gallon, 225. Taz. We got Capone I gotta feed. So I'm gonna feed the rest of these off camera. But I just wanted to show you an example of my opinion of proper feeding. Especially when you have a cleanup crew in there. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that everybody gets some food. So it's okay to leave a little food in there, you know, after everybody else ate, if you do have some bottom feeders, cleanup crew, fish that come out later on and eat. Some fish are nocturnal when they're bottom feeders. So they may not eat until nighttime. They may not eat until the light is off. So you just got to know what fish you have in there. You got to make sure that you put the right fish in there. And again, you just want to make sure that you have the proper feeding schedule on it. I mean, it's crazy that people are still confused on it, but I get it, I guess. Your fish look like it's hungry. You want to give it some food. You feel like that's the connection. That's when a lot of fish, they come, that's when their personality really come out. That's when they come alive. You know what I mean? When it's time to eat. But yeah, just make sure that you're not overfeeding. And if you're going to do either or, underfeeding is always better than overfeeding. If you're going to take a trip, you don't have to worry about, and if it's for a couple of days, you don't have to worry about feeding. Feed them good, before your trip, feed them when you come back. You know what I mean? They'll be okay. They'll be okay for up to a week. I mean, I've had fish that has gone weeks. I've had a fish that actually went a month without eating. So understand that you're not starving your fish. You're not. Once you start seeing that body starting to, have that sunken in stomach, and I'm not talking about from parasites, from lack of eating, either the fish is going to eat, switch up the food, or, that's how you know that it's really going hungry. But other than that, sometimes a stubborn fish will take a little bit of time to actually eat. But anyway, that's again for another video. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, overfeeding opposed to underfeeding. If you learned something from this, make sure you're hitting that comment section. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. But let's go ahead and close this on out. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you're inspired by something. If you're new to the channel, please do a couple things before you go. If you haven't done it any of the other times I mentioned it, do it right now. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, everyone. And if you like the video, what do? Like the damn video. Peace.